Empires often believe they fail because rulers weaken or rivals grow stronger. Yet failure begins long before either appears. It begins when distance quietly outruns control. Scale expands faster than coordination. Authority travels outward, but terrain does not move with it. What looks like decline is often geometry catching up. By the end, the pattern will be visible. Beyond a certain size, centralization does not collapse from rebellion first. It collapses from logistics. The map becomes heavier than the center can lift. Constraint accumulates in roads, rivers, mountains, and time itself. What seems like political failure is structural saturation. This matters because scale is not unique. It repeats. Whenever territory widens beyond the speed of communication and supply, similar pressures gather. Not dramatically, not all at once. Quietly. The same distances reassert themselves, the same bottlenecks thicken. The same corridors narrow choice long before anyone recognizes the narrowing. Consider terrain before administration. Mountain chains fracture movement into passes that open only seasonally. Deserts stretch between water sources measured not in miles, but in survival intervals. Rivers permit transport in one direction more easily than the other. Forests slow caravans into lines vulnerable to weather and scarcity. None of these conditions intend resistance. They simply exist. Distance is measured not only in space, but in time. A message carried by horse across 1,000 miles moves at the speed of muscle and rest. A decree sent from the center may require weeks to reach the frontier. A response requires the same return. Between order and adjustment lies a season. Weather changes during that interval. Harvest cycles turn. Armies reposition. The terrain continues. Resources are rarely evenly distributed. Grain grows in plains, metals emerge from mountains. Timber stands in colder climates, salt forms in dry basins. Centralized authority must move these materials across uneven ground. Roads must be maintained. Bridges must be repaired. Ports dredged. Each mile of infrastructure multiplies the burden of upkeep. Expansion increases not only territory, but maintenance surfaces. Trade routes narrow at choke points. A single strait channels maritime commerce. A single mountain pass determines access between regions. A single river delta holds the entry to inland wealth. These nodes concentrate movement. They also concentrate vulnerability. Control over them demands permanent presence. Permanent presence demands supply. Supply depends on distance already stretched. Borders lengthen as territory widens. A compact state can patrol edges with density. An empire must thin its perimeter. Patrol intervals expand. Surveillance becomes selective. Peripheral zones operate on delayed awareness. What occurs at one frontier may remain unknown to another for months. Central command does not experience simultaneity. It experiences fragments. Now scale shifts. At first, expansion appears efficient. New territories add tax base, manpower, grain fields. Revenues increase faster than expenses. Roads built for conquest double as trade arteries. Garrisons stationed for defense stabilize markets. Growth feels self-reinforcing. Central administration thickens its archives. Record-keeping expands. The system appears to strengthen as it widens. But expansion also multiplies variables. Climate zones diversify. Harvest cycles desynchronize. Flood patterns differ. Drought strikes one province while surplus burdens another. To equalize scarcity requires transport. Transport requires security. Security requires personnel drawn from elsewhere. Each solution pulls from another region's stability. Coordination grows complex. Communication delays introduce lag into governance. By the time a directive arrives, conditions have shifted. Local administrators adapt in anticipation rather than instruction. Adaptation becomes precedent. Precedent becomes localized practice. Over time, provinces resemble each other less. The center sends uniform commands into uneven conditions. Compliance becomes conditional. Scale shifts again from map to ledger. Revenue collection spreads across thousands of villages. Each village produces in small quantities. Aggregation demands bureaucracy. Bureaucracy demands scribes, storage, oversight. Archives expand faster than review capacity. Errors accumulate invisibly. Tax shortfalls appear as local anomalies rather than systemic drift. The center sees totals. It does not see texture. Logistics thicken. Supplying distant garrisons requires grain shipments calculated months in advance. A failed harvest at the origin disrupts troops at the edge. Winter freezes rivers used for transport. Caravans slow under unexpected snow. Replacement orders overlap. Warehouses overflow in one region while shortages emerge in another. None of this is rebellion. It is friction. The army itself reflects scale. Troops recruited from one climate operate in another. Equipment designed for plains rusts in humid coasts. Horses bred in temperate zones weaken in deserts. To compensate requires specialized provisioning. Specialization increases dependency on particular routes. If a single corridor closes, entire regiments stall. Expansion has turned mobility into fragility. Ports illustrate the shift. At first, they are gateways. As trade intensifies, congestion forms. Ships queue. Storage fills. Customs officials strain under volume. Inspection slows throughput. Merchants reroute through less efficient harbors. Revenue disperses unevenly. The center attempts standardization. But each coastline differs in depth, tide, and seasonal storm patterns. Uniform regulation meets variable shorelines. Time accumulates within administration. Records must travel inward for audit. Appeals must travel outward for enforcement. Each layer introduces delay. The center begins to act on outdated data. Corrections arrive after consequences. Peripheral governors learn that delay creates autonomy, not through declaration, but through distance. Another shift, from movement to perception. At the center, maps present the empire as contiguous color. Borders appear stable lines. But on the ground, boundaries are porous gradients. Traders cross informally. Local alliances blur jurisdiction. Rivers change course. Mountain passes shift with landslides. The map stabilizes what terrain refuses to hold steady. Population density varies. Some provinces teem, others remain sparse. Equal governance across unequal density produces imbalance. Dense regions generate surplus but demand infrastructure. Sparse regions demand subsidy for defense. Redistribution requires transport already strained. When redistribution slows, inequality widens geographically. Stability becomes uneven. Expansion eventually outruns road repair. The cost of maintaining every mile exceeds the revenue of marginal territories. Decisions must be made about which corridors to prioritize. Prioritization creates neglect elsewhere. Neglect increases isolation. Isolation encourages local adaptation. Adaptation diverges from central norms. The empire stretches not only outward, but thinner. Recognition emerges quietly. Orders require repetition to be obeyed. Compliance depends on negotiation rather than assumption. Garrisons become permanent fixtures rather than temporary guarantees. Trade routes require escort. Escort requires funding. Funding requires higher extraction. Higher extraction depends on transport efficiency that has already slowed. The center notices strain but sees no singular break. There is no decisive event. Instead, small inefficiencies overlap. A delayed shipment here, an uncollected tax there, a bridge unrepaired, a report misfiled, none fatal. Together, cumulative. Choice appears at this stage. Administrators can centralize further, tighten oversight, increase monitoring, standardize procedure, or they can delegate, grant autonomy, reduce reporting burdens, trust local adaptation. Yet both options operate within the same distances. Centralization increases paperwork across lagging communication lines. Delegation reduces uniformity across widening variance. The geometry remains. The unresolved question forms without answer. Is there a scale at which centralization converts strength into inertia? When the energy required to maintain cohesion equals or exceeds the benefit of unity, what alternative remains within the same map? No rebellion is required for this threshold. No external invasion necessary. The limit arises from coordination itself. Pressure does not vanish after recognition. It settles into maintenance. Roads repaired one season erode the next. Frontier garrisons rotate endlessly. Archives swell. Messages continue their slow passage across terrain indifferent to authority. The center still issues commands. The periphery still responds. But between them lies accumulated delay. Empires do not fall at the moment of overextension. They continue. Administrations function. Markets operate. Armies patrol. Yet beneath this surface, synchronization has thinned. Response times lengthen beyond relevance. Peripheral conditions evolve faster than central awareness. What appears unified is increasingly asynchronous. In the end, failure is not spectacle, it is mismatch. Scale exceeds the velocity of coordination. Distance converts oversight into approximation. Approximation compounds. The structure remains visible on the map long after cohesion has weakened within it. The terrain has not changed. Mountains remain, rivers flow, deserts stretch. What has changed is the ratio between territory and response. When that ratio widens past a certain point, centralization does not explode, it slows. And in slowing, it yields ground not through decision, but through delay. The map remains colored, the roads remain drawn, but the pressure continues, quiet, geographic, patient, waiting beyond the reach of any single center to carry its weight indefinitely. Subscribe to Timeless Questions for more thoughtful journeys into the ideas and forces that shape civilizations and continue to shape us.